everybody. I just wanted to make a video on 5 things that have helped me during the setback and 5 things that haven't. So I have notes and I'll be looking down to reference them. So first, starting with the 5 things that have helped me during the setback. The number one thing is support. And I cannot stress this enough, is I don't believe that we can do this in isolation. At least if you're an extrovert like me. Maybe some introverts can, but I don't. I also think that introverts need support. And the support that I've used has been in groups. So Baylissa's group, and she's not running that anymore. Dr. Jenn's group for the first few months was really good. Also books like the book that Baylissa wrote, With Hope in My Heart. I've read that over and over and over again. That was super supportive. Oh, I should mention a Benzo group that I did through Meetup for probably about a year. And then Reassurance. So as part of support, getting the reassurance from so many people who've healed before me, and just constantly reaching out to them and asking them if I'm okay, am I going to be okay? And there's been times where I needed so much reassurance. I mean, even that I was going to get through the day. So reassurance is huge. It goes very, very far in this, and it's very powerful. It's a powerful tool to get constant reassurance. And we need it. Our bodies are in a state of chronic fight or flight. We don't have enough GABA receptors or working GABA receptors and can't cool down. And so just having those outside voices tell you you're going to be okay, that goes so far. Having a small group of people that I check in with daily. So, you know, there's like hundreds of thousands of us going through this, and there's going to always be your tribe. Like, you'll find your tribe. So having other people who are going through a setback, talking with them daily, getting that reassurance, giving support, getting support. So for me, support has been number 1 through all of this. Number 2, distraction. And this is so key. It's like I heard someone say in a video years ago that we're all going to do the time. And it's not that you're not going to do the time, it's how you do the time. And I thought about that a lot. It's like, okay, when I was in a very, very, very hard place, and I'm suffering day in and day out and Groundhog Day, and there's just no changes. And the biggest thing is distraction. So for me, I've used knitting. As you know, if you've been following my channel, I've knit all the way through, even in acute. Coloring, I'm a big fan of adult coloring books. I've colored. There was a time when I could not, after the setback, I could not watch TV or have a lot of noise around me. So just the coloring was pretty much all I could do. Of course, there's going to be times that we can't distract, and I totally get that distraction is sometimes almost like a luxury, even though you're distracting through horrendous symptoms. Sometimes the symptoms are so bad, it's just literally moment to moment, which is, I think, when you go back to that support and getting those people to tell you you're going to be okay. So reading has been a huge thing for me. And it's weird, as my baseline has gone up and up and up, I've stopped reading. It was reading in lower baselines was really what got me through. Getting into a narrative, and I'm lucky that I was able to hold on to narratives. I know some people can't because of, circuitry issues, and I totally get that, although that is horrible. It will change. But I have been able to read books, so I've read a lot of books in the setback. And then any kind of positive distractions. So, when I would be, going on like small walks, taking photos. Like, photos for me were a really positive way for me to, take a photo, post it on Instagram, look at things around me to take pictures of. That was really nice. If it's the shore, if it's a flower, I really like taking photos. Then neural rewiring, so Gupta, DNRS. I would actually recommend Gupta. Gupta was really good for me because it comes with some really solid advice about being gentle with ourselves, and pacing, and just loving ourselves, and the meditations that come with that. So for me, I didn't do like a rewiring practice like daily, but just having those tenets of being gentle with myself and pacing, those really helped me kind of rewire some of the scary shit that was going on in my head. So Gupta was really good for me. Later on, I was able to start watching TV and YouTube. YouTube has been huge. Clearly, I'm a YouTuber. I love YouTube. It's awesome. There's so much you can watch on YouTube, and I've just dove into that. I've also watched a lot of TV. I had like a horrendous wave where I couldn't get out of bed for 6 weeks. I watched like the entire, seasons like 1 through 5 of Downton Abbey. So at a certain baseline when I was able to watch TV has been a really, really good positive distraction for me. Also music. So music, like I would do Baylissa's group, and she had like a Friday music jam that we would get into, and she'd DJ, and it was just a really good time. Listen to all the oldies, all the, Olivia Newton-John, or Fleetwood Mac, or Elton John, just the classics, like feel good music. That has been good for me. And then, so walks, once I could start walking again, which it took me quite some time. And you can see here on my channel that I really, really struggled with being able to walk. That was something that was taken from me in the setback, and took a long time for my body to start being able to walk. But so I wasn't really there for a long time, but once I got there and I could do little walks, it really was nice to get outside and, be in the sun. And then later on, as my baseline went up, I was able to take even longer walks, and then finally kind of get into the flow of walking, even with symptoms. Has been a good distraction for me. So the third thing that's helped me during the setback is normalizing. And normalizing is so huge in this. Your brain, your damaged brain, is going to want to tell you there's something else wrong. And, it's one thing to say this now, it's another thing to be in that thing, because health anxiety is a huge symptom for me. So whenever I go back into a wave or back into something, all the what if voices come up again. What if this is terminal? What if I never heal? What if this is something else? What if it's no longer benzo withdrawal and or GABA injury? And so normalizing it. And on Baylissa's website, she does list every single symptom, and she has a little audio clip. She took so much time to do this, so thank you, Baylissa, for doing that. But there's a little audio clip that will kind of discuss each symptom that people have reported. So sometimes going on there and checking for that to see, okay, are these normal symptoms in withdrawal? Because it mimics so many things. So normalizing that this is normal. We have an injury that is pervasive. It is, like I always say, pouring salt on a slug. If you know about that, you pour salt on a slug and the slug disintegrates. It disintegrates your body. So yes, you're going to have all these crazy symptoms, and that is normal. And that is super helpful in those moments. Also, for me, normalizing through getting tests. Now, some people haven't had the need to go to the doctor, or they don't want to go to the doctor. For me, after the setback, before the setback, I didn't really go to doctors much because my baseline was always really high, but it's like the antibiotic did some more damage to me. So I went and got checked out a lot. I lost my vision for a while, or quite some time. I couldn't see straight. There were so many things going on with me that I just needed to know, am I okay? And every single test came back normal. So that was always a good indication to me, okay, this is withdrawal. There's nothing else nefarious going on. And for me, that was important. That helped quell my anxiety. So Also, my neurologist, my lovely neurologist, rest in peace, Dr. Dustin. He did end up passing away sometime last year, and he was an amazing man, and he totally normalized all of this. He said, this is the way the central nervous system heals, you will heal. And just having someone say that, I mean, I know we put a lot of like credit to these people in their white coats, these doctors, and you know, there is that placebo nocebo thing that happens when somebody with the, you know, white coat and the professional and the doctor before their name, if they tell you you're going to be okay, there is something psychological about that. And it did work for me. The placebo effect, it was very soothing. It was part of that normalizing. So number 4 is the apps and the resources that I've used through this. So the Dare app, and you can go to the App Store and download the Dare app. The Dare app has been a lifesaver for me, and I've used it through the taper and post-taper. I put it away for a long time, and I didn't need to pick it back up again until after the setback, but there was a time where I was so frozen in bed with terror, with so much fear, so many things broke down in my body and stopped working, and I was just so scared, you know, and it's like that terror. It's one of those symptoms, and I just started getting real core with that Dare app, and I would do the daily dares, and I would have him talk to me and tell me again and again and again, these are just sensations. They will not hurt you. This is just what happens when we have too much cortisol in the body. The body goes wackadoodle, but it's not dangerous. And then I would just feel the sensations, you know. So the Dare app was really, really good. It's helped me in panic attacks, anxiety attacks. Of course, my biggest resource has been Baylissa and the website. My absolute biggest resource in the 5 years I've been doing this. She's beyond fantastic, beyond fantastic. Also, Dr. Jenn's blog. So I was in Dr. Jenn's group, and but I also really read her blog because you can see, like, from the setbacks that she had, how she healed. And so that was a really good resource just to read that at the time. Like, okay, even somebody with massive setbacks has healed. So that was a good resource. So Gupta, like I said, Gupta has a lot of really cool, and Gupta's program, there's this big manual you get, and you can really see how, you know, he charts it all out, how when you have a symptom, so you have a symptom, and then the fear center of your brain attaches meaning to that symptom. It tells you all kinds of things. It sends all kinds of, you know, it reads it, interprets it in certain ways, which then makes the symptom flare and get worse. And so what we want to do is decrease that fear around the symptom so the symptom doesn't get worse. And again, Gupta just, you know, that education around that, that big manual, the meditations, you know, that just was really useful for me. And then kind of going into the TMS world, when I got into some of the kind of mind-body medicine, again, my baseline had to get at a certain level to do some of these things. The work of Nichole Sachs and Journal Speak, the videos of Dan Buglio have been helpful. Also, Dr. Schubiner and Dr. Sarno's books, and really understanding, again, this like mind-body connection where it's all sort of, it's too much stress, and we just have so much stress hormones in our bodies that it actually creates symptoms. It creates sensations. And people who are benzo injured, we don't have enough working GABA receptors to put the brakes on those symptoms and those sensations. But those sensations are not dangerous. So knowing that and being like, okay, even though these are spicy, these are colorful sensations, I'm okay, I'm safe, has been really huge for me. Mindfulness, I cannot stress that enough. Mindfulness, this I would say is the number one thing that has helped me. Meditation and mindfulness meditation. I've done a lot of kinds of meditation. I grew up meditating. There's all kinds of ways to meditate. There's guided meditation. There's bhakti meditation. There's like a yidam practice. There's all kinds of different things. Mindfulness for me has been so key. So closed eye meditation for me and doing body scans, noticing the sensations in my body and then noticing how they change. And again, because a lot of my anxiety had to do with that there was something fundamentally wrong with me and I was scared. My body was in a really massive fight or flight. So just being able to turn within, and I have a whole video on this too, so I don't want to belabor it too much, but turning within and listening to my body. Also, like if I have insomnia, body scans, lots of body scans, lots of mindfulness has been really, really good. Also, I've used the warm line, so it's like not a hot line, but it's a warm line. You can tell them if you're having SI. That has been hugely helpful because it wasn't always like in my home, I couldn't always talk to my partner about how I was feeling. Sometimes they can't hear that stuff. It's too much for them to hear that their loved one is having these thoughts. Our people aren't trained in it. But to call somebody who's trained, who's not going to report you, who's going to just listen to you, that a couple of times was just this switch. It just went into a window. Or dissipated some of my symptoms, calling the warm line. And number 5 is the love of my family. And that is like so key. And if you don't have family, then chosen family, or you create your family through the community of other people who are suffering, the people that have like a positive vibe, hang on to those people. But if you have your family, basking in the love, and basking in that love and just letting them wrap you up with their love and be the strength that maybe you can't be for yourself in that time. Every time I've been around my son, I feel better. Something about that the hormones with me and my kid and like the oxytocin and whatever, but I just feel better around him. Whenever he's around, I just feel better. So the love of your family, connection, laughter, like laugh with your family. My family's funny, so they make me laugh a lot. Spending time together. And there was a time in acute of the setback where I could not spend any time with them at all. So I understand if it's too much, I get that. But when you can, spend time with your family. And when I didn't have the ability to have patience, just letting them, have it for me and tell me all the time, Mom, you're going to heal. Or my partner telling me I'm going to heal. I've seen you here before. You're going to be okay. And just having that love of the family. So this has been really long. So if you need to take a pause, I'm still going to go through the 5 things that didn't work. So pause now and go to the bathroom or drink some water, and then you can come back and watch the rest. So what didn't work? Changing my diet. I have changed my diet over and over again. All kinds of different diets. I've done keto. I've tried vegan. I still don't do gluten or much dairy. A little bit of dairy here and there. But that's kind of like other issues. Like I don't really want that stuff anyway. I don't do a lot of refined sugar, but I do some coconut sugar. But like these diets that people talk about, there's a few people in the community who say like, I heal from this diet or I heal from this diet. None of that worked for me. It's just, yeah, it just didn't work for me. The next thing that didn't work for me is pushing through my symptoms. So some people, they think, oh, just get up and go and push through it. Maybe now I can, now that my baseline is higher, but there were times when it was like, are you kidding me? I'm not pushing. Like, I can't physically move. Number 3, the third thing that didn't work for me is increasing my exercise. So you see this maybe on some success stories, people who, are able to heal through exercise. It didn't work for me. I'm not, unfortunately, I so wish I'd pay money if exercise was what healed me, but it did not work for me. It's not worked for me. Number 4, coaches that say you need to do this or you need to do that. That doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. No, I don't. I'm not. Baylissa is my girl, and she always said, "You just do you, and you're gonna heal. No matter what you do you, and your body's gonna heal." And that's my truth. Supplements have not worked for me. I've taken B supplements, D supplements. I can take those now, and I do, but they haven't healed me. It's not like a supplement is going to make me better. So wrapping all of that up, I have to add, I meant to mention success stories as something that's really helped me. So I just want to tag that on. Tons and tons and tons of success stories. When I'm in a bad space, a bad wave, like I just success story my butt off, and that's been really helpful. The biggest thing that has helped me, not only in this setback, but prior to the setback, when I got off that medication and I felt healed within a certain time frame, and post setback, time. That is, I know nobody wants to hear it. It's not sexy. It requires a lot of us. It takes a fucking lot of us, and it takes out a lot of us. And it sucks, and I'm sorry, but it is really the only thing that has truly changed me from severely sick to now much more able-bodied, and hopefully, knock on wood, increasing in my abilities. The other things have helped me to cope through all this. They haven't healed me. They've helped me to cope. And so I would say find those things that help you cope, and make a list and keep going back to it and keep adding to it. So I think that's it for now. It's been a super long video, but I wanted to shout that out, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Okay, peace.